Hello and welcome to Mabinda TV. This is home of Providence Conservatism, where we advocate for a fine balance between individual creative genius excellence as afforded by capitalism and society excellence as afforded by equality of opportunity. So in essence, we are calling for capitalism with a human first, that is capitalism with a human first. So now this is a three-part segment that will be remaking America, and then of course ideas, and then finally a Bible study. So in the Making America, as a UPenn president, I think Elizabeth McGill resigns. Or will this curve arise in anti-Semitism in American college campuses? That is, as UPenn, University of Pennsylvania president Elizabeth McGill resigns. Of course, she resigned after that questioning by Congress, where she testified that genocide, calling for genocide against Jews was context dependent. Of course, that was a very rarely answer. And of course, I think students did not feel that, especially donors did not feel that basically she had done enough to combat anti-Semitism in UPenn. And I think that shows you this, of course, is the first president of a major university to resign because of the perceived anti-Semitism in American elite colleges. And of course, there was also the president of Harvard, Claudine Gay, and the president of MIT, Stefanik. Both of them, of course, you have, I think, you have the congresswoman Stefanik, the Republican congresswoman, New York congresswoman Stefanik, saying that basically saying that one is down, now two more to go. Of course, on the left, but of course you have on the left, they accuse the Republican Party, they accuse that is the Republicans, that they want to go after colleges. They are paying for the blood in colleges because American elite colleges and maybe the whole higher education system is perceived to be very, very liberal. I think 90% of students at Harvard or Yale or Stanford or MIT or Princeton identify as liberal. So you can imagine these are really liberal indoctrination centers. So and I think Republicans want that to be curbed, and that is why you have Stefanik going against, going begging for the blood of these three presidents of American elite colleges. And I think, of course, she asked, do you think it will have been tolerable for maybe for a person, for a student, or for a faculty to call for the extermination, genocide against African Americans? They would have been expelled there and then. But I think for now, of course, Harvard President Claudine Gay defended her remarks, saying if free speech extended to conduct, then it amounted to hate speech. It amounted to hate speech. And I think, of course, there was a very calculated response from the Harvard president Claudine Gay, saying that Harvard opposes hate in all its forms. Harvard goes hard against hate in all its forms, but then again, Harvard has to preserve free speech. But of course, then you have the New York Republican Congresswoman Stefanik saying that basically that is calling for genocide is not free speech in any way. So I think we will see whether these universities will turn away from being liberal indoctrination centers where students maybe there should be diversity also, as DEI becomes diversity, equity, and inclusion becomes the catchphrase in American mainstream colleges. In American elite colleges, maybe there should also be diversity in terms of political affiliation, maybe in terms of faculty that identify as conservative. I think about 75% to 80% of faculty in American elite colleges identify as conservative, identify as liberal. So basically, conservatives are only about 15 to 20% in these elite colleges, and maybe for Republicans, this is not something that they wish to see. They wish to see more conservative voices. And I think you had, after the defeat of Donald Trump in 2020, you had Harvard signing a letter that basically Harvard students signed a letter calling upon the universities not to encourage and not to take in any former Trump administration officials. So you can imagine how liberal these centers are. But I think for the UPenn president, of course, she has resigned. Well, of course, she will stay as interim. She will stay as president, as an interim president is being looked for by UPenn. But I think it just shows you the level of hate, the level of conflict, the level of division in America. You have division of African Americans, whites, Latinos, Hispanics, Arab Americans, but then of course I think America should move and be a post-social society. I think the only delineating factor in America right now should be class. I don't think class should play a factor. Of course, I think maybe the two parties, so you have a lot of liberals, blacks support the Democratic Party. Maybe it has not done enough for Americans, and I think a lot of whites support Republicans. Maybe that's the delineation, but of course for Republicans, they have gone hard to the far right, and of course for Stephanie herself, a Harvard alumni, that is the representative Stephanie, she is a Harvard alumni, but of course she threw that away and now is firmly in the Trump camp. I think within the Republicans, you have Trump making the Republican Party to be his own personality cult. Of course, some say he is the only one that stands up to the deep state. That is, Donald Trump is the only one that stands up to the deep state, and maybe that is why he is lost by the powers that be in America. But of course, for his supporters, Donald Trump is the one fighting everything that is wrong with America. They say America has to recalibrate. America has to recalibrate from the Bush and the Obama years, where the deep state calls the shots. But right now, it is Donald Trump that some say lost the election because of the deep state that does not want to see of him. So I think in American college campuses there will still be liberal centers, but I think there has to be more diversity within these colleges. There has to be more diversity of political affiliation in American colleges, so that more people identify as conservatives, so that we can have a fine balance between liberals and conservatives within American elite colleges, and this will do more to encourage more conservative voices within American colleges. And I think this is the way to remake American elite colleges. I think a lot of students are looking, especially maybe Jewish students, are looking at these American elite colleges and saying they will not be calling their college counselors and saying maybe they should not be applying to these colleges after all. I think they have lost a bit of a shine. These American elite colleges have lost a bit of a shine, and I think they will have to do more in order to attract top students, top faculty talent, as some would prefer. Maybe they will go to the less known private colleges, maybe such as Amherst or Duke University, or maybe a state university, so that you can have a spread of talent. But maybe it is also a good thing, so that these colleges, these donors maybe can also look elsewhere. Maybe a state university in New York will do more with the research labs, or money that such as a UPenn donor had descended until UPenn fights hard against the spread of anti-Semitism in UPenn campus. So I think for now the students still, but I think maybe it will be swept under the water. Maybe the students will forget all this and still apply to the Ivy League colleges. But I think right now they have lost a bit of a shine. For students who see these colleges as a ticket, for students and parents, who see these colleges as the route to a successful life in future. But also you have to blame these colleges. They have scaled down on the arts and the humanities, and if you ask students from these colleges, they will say their preferred career destination is in high finance and consulting. So they are going to, these careers maybe are about selling your soul, so they are not careers that basically solve the toughest challenges that America faces, and maybe also increase the number of donors, so that they don't come from high finance and consulting and hedge fund managers. I think the money that UPenn has apparently lost $100 million was supposed to build a center for innovation in finance at UPenn, but of course the donor rescinded that gift, and of course he said until the university does more to combat anti-Semitism. So for now, I think UPenn president has resigned, but I don't think it will necessarily lead to maybe a diversity of opinions in American elite colleges. Then in ideas, I will go over to ideas. What goes into a startup's valuation? That is, what goes into a startup's valuation? So, can a company that has only 10 employees, has no revenue, has no profits, has no revenues, let alone profits, be valued at $1 billion? What goes into a startup valuation? Is it really fair for Tesla to be valued at about $700 billion when the world's largest automaker, Toyota, is valued at only $285 billion? I think for now, the startup valuation, a lot of money is being thrown into startups. I think in the year 2021, about $285 billion was thrown into $285 billion was thrown into startups in America, but can some of that money be used in a brick and mortar economy? Because I think by and large it is most jobs are created in the brick and mortar economy, not in startups. And I think if there were more brick and mortar funding opportunities, then there would be more jobs created. And I think if these jobs, look at I think the stimulus package in 2008 by George W. Bush at the height of the financial crisis. I think there was about $700 billion that was earmarked for. There was $700 billion that was earmarked for, saving the banks. What if that money could have gone $1 million each to brick and mortar companies? That would have been about 700,000 brick and mortar companies founded, and this would have provided clean, decent, and rewarding jobs for many Americans. And I think the pace of innovation in the American economy has to stay up so that you can't have this destruction of brick and mortar companies for these startups. I think startups are creating a very minute number of jobs, and most people don't have dependable middle class jobs in these startups. That's why I tend to think that maybe we need more brick and mortar investment towards brick and mortar companies, so that we can have the real jobs being created. And I think I think it is Donald Trump who tried to maybe hold a Made in America summit where he wanted manufacturing to be brought back to America. But I think this could happen with 3D printing, because we have been in the age of mass production for the last maybe 200 years or so. And I think, of course, you have Henry Ford with the make of the Ford automobile, and adapting this idea from a chocolate making company. But I think then, of course, but that requires a lot of capital. But then you have 3D printing, which could usher in the age of mass customization. For instance, if your car broke down, you could simply head over to the Ford website and download the car part drawing, and then 3D print it in the street corner. So this is maybe 3D printing will bring about manufacturing jobs, cottage industries back to American street corners, and that is the way maybe engineers could match the stature of that is doctors and lawyers. So I think for now it is about maybe bringing back the manufacturing jobs in America. Should be about maybe demanding that American companies that has operation overseas also have those operations in America, and also demanding that embracing 3D printing, additive manufacturing as the way to maybe find more people with 3D printers, so that we can print 3D print jugs, plates, spoons, and that is the way that there will be more cottage industries. You will not need a lot of startup capital for this. So you let me know what really goes into a startup's valuation. How is a startup that is valued, that has no just 10 employees, no revenues at all, no profits, valued at maybe valued at $1 billion. And I think some even are just an idea on paper. I think there was an article on TechCrunch, a real estate online company that was valued at $1 billion, even without a single product, a single employee, a single revenue source, a single profit, a dollar in profit, but valued at $1 billion. So I think Hollywood, I think Silicon Valley, I think for now Silicon Valley could explode anytime, and I think maybe that this will not be akin to the dot-com bubble of early in the century. So now I will move over to Bible study. So in Bible study, I will be looking at Exodus chapter 33 verse 12 to 14. So in Exodus chapter 33 verse 12 to 14, and this is about Moses sees the glory of God. So Moses said to the Lord, you told me to lead these people, but you did not say who you will send me with. You said to me, I know you very well and I am pleased with you. If I have really pleased you, then teach me your ways. I want to know you, then I can continue to please you. Remember that these people are your nation. Then the Lord answered, I myself will go with you. I will lead you. So how do you lead people? How do you lead people? I think Moses was really perturbed by the constant complaints from the Israelis. I think you heard a lot of Israelis complaining that maybe it should have been better to stay in Egypt because as slaves, because there was food, but now they are in captivity. They are in captivity as slaves. I think Israelis were slaves of Egypt for about 400 years. They are in captivity, and they really don't know what to do. So Moses was asking God for a favor so that he knows how to lead his people. So I think as a leader, then you have to look out to God. You have to lead your people well, but know that it is not a good. Being a leader is not something that you is not an easy task. There will be people complaining. There will be all sorts of complaints. Someone says that leading human beings is one of the hardest jobs possible. It's better maybe to lead machines, but leading human beings with all their emotions, with all their perspectives, is one of the hardest jobs possible. And I think being a leader calls that we rely on God. We know that people will complain, but then we forge ahead with that kind of leadership. So that was the Bible study for now. And now this has been Mabinda TV, where I have looked in this episode. I've looked at that is in Remaking America, whether there should be conservative voices in American elite colleges, and then in ideas and what goes into a status violation, and then finally in Heart and Soul in the Bible study, I've looked at Exodus chapter 33 verse 12 to 14. So now this has been Mabinda TV. This is home of Providence Conservatism, where I look at I find balance between individual creative genius excellence as afforded by capitalism and society excellence as afforded by equality of opportunity. So in essence, we are calling for capitalism with a human first. That is capitalism with a human first, or what I will call Providence Conservatism. So bye for now, till next time.